Hey, my name's Rich from Elk Endeavors, and I wanted to talk to you today about Napoleon Hill's 13 principles from Think and Grow Rich. Now, you'll notice that I'm in the same outfit, I'm in the same room, and that's because I just shot the video that I just did yesterday about 3 minutes ago. So I'm learning about the power of the internet and YouTube and scheduling videos to come up and things like that. So, but today what I wanted to do is talk about desire. Okay, so the first principle in Napoleon Hill's 13 principles for Think and Grow Rich is the desire that you need to have to be successful. And when we're talking about desire, we're not when he's talking about desire, and really when any business person is talking about desire, you're not talking about something that would be like, oh, that would be kind of cool, or I wish I had this. It's a burning desire that you absolutely have to have without question, no holds barred. I'm gonna get this thing, right? And the most powerful example, there's two actually in the book that I thought were really cool. There's one, and there's a battle. I'm not a historian. I don't claim to be, so I don't remember what battle it was. But there's a battle where the troops had to sail their ships onto an island. And then when they got to the island, their job was to take the island, right? So when they got to the island, their commander told them to burn the ships, right? So they were either gonna die on the island or they were gonna take it, and that there was nothing else that they could do. So they burned their ships and they won. Right, they won the island. The second one was that with Henry Ford, and this talks a lot about the book talks a lot about Henry Ford. But Henry Ford decided that he wanted to have an 8-cylinder engine in his car. I don't know what car it was, but he wanted to have 8 cylinders in a single engine block, and he told his engineers that's what he wanted, and they tried for like 6 months. They couldn't come up with it, and he was like, all right, that's okay, get it for me. And they were like, no, it's not, like, we can't do it. And he was like, well, no, you just get it for me. And so he kept at it, and they kept at it, and then they were able to do it. They were finally able to produce what he wanted. Now, he's the master. He was the one that knew what he wanted. He had this desire in his head. He implanted that desire into his designers, and they made it happen. And that's something where when you think about belief, and another example is sort of from outside, is the 4-minute mile, right? When Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, everyone thought it was humanly impossible. This was never going to happen. No human is ever going to be able to run a 4-minute mile. Roger Bannister did it, and then like 3 weeks later, another person did it. So it was like once someone understood that it was possible, they were able to just do it. Not just do it, but they were able to do it. So once Roger Bannister did it, people figured out, well, okay, well, if he did it, then I can do it. And then the person did it. I don't remember what his name is, but he was able to do it. So those are some of the things that govern like those laws of success that I was talking about. That's very important. So that desire, that's the way that we implant the desire and have the burning desire that we absolutely will succeed no matter what. And the way that this thing becomes a law is that the idea. And this is now actually like more proven proven scientifically, but Napoleon Hill was going off of just like what people told him and the successes that they had was the fact that when you have an idea, when you decide, okay, I'm going to do this, you can't help but succeed, right? And the reason is because your brain is not capable of creating a desire that it can't reach, right? So if you want to, let's say if you want to run a marathon, right? That idea wouldn't pop in your head if you were unable to do it. It just wouldn't. And so now it's not just, you don't just say like, I'm going to run a marathon and then you go out and run a marathon. You have to train, but that burning desire is what keeps you going, right? The idea, like, because you've had the idea, your brain would not allow you to have the idea if you weren't capable of achieving the goal. And that's really important. And that's something that's driven me through this whole thing is just like the idea that I can make money, for myself, to get myself and my family, comfortable, and then move toward helping others is huge. I mean, that's the whole, like, when I started this, and I've talked to many many of you about this. When I started this whole process, I didn't have you guys in mind. I mean, I have to tell you, I was trying to make money, right? That's what anyone gets into this business for. Well, I shouldn't say that, but that's why I got into the business to try to make some money, some extra money for my family. I had no idea that I was going to be concerned about about other people, much less like having the goal. Like in my mind, I've already reached the goals that I set out for my own self and my family, and I'm now thinking about my legacy, right? And how that's going to affect like what things I'm going to be able to do with the sort of the excess money that I've created for myself and my family. So imagine like that's just a really cool thing to like in your head be able to like have come up with and created for yourself. So that's something that I think is really important for you to understand. So once you have that desire, you can't help but figure it out and make it happen, because your brain would not allow the idea to come into your head. And ultimately, when you think about affiliate entrepreneurship or people making money online, there's so many people making money online, and you have to think about like, well, why would you be different? Like why would it be that this is the like one of the first things you sort of get over when you realize what you're doing is that like why would I be different, right? Like what's different about me that this law wouldn't come into play in my life? And that's really what you have to think about, is the fact that this is a law. So instead of thinking about like, well, that law that law doesn't pertain to me, think about how it can like ensure that you're not going to fail, and that's a very, very important step in this whole process. So the desire is fortified by the laws of success, and if you have the desire and the desire is implanted in your head, then you will be able to do what it is that you want to do and what you've set out to do. And then the final thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you have to have goals, and you have to write them down, right? So Napoleon Hill, he stated very clearly in the book that you must write down your goals. They must be exact. So if we're talking about money, he says you have to be exact in the amount of money you want to make, right? So you have to write that down. Write the exact amount of money down, write when you're going to have that money in hand, write what you're going to do to get that money, and then you read it in the morning when you wake up. You have it next to your bed. The first thing you do is look at it in the morning. The last thing you do is in the evening. Now, this is not something where you're like, oh, well, I have it in my head. I'm just going to go with it in my head. This is something that you physically have to write down. I actually, honestly, like through the 4% Success Challenge, I've started writing my goals down at least once a day. So I'll sit down, like when I get to work, I write down the goals and this is bloomed into a whole other thing with my job. But I sit down, I write down my goals for what I want to do today, and then I write down the goals that I have for my business, and then when I finish work, I write down I have a whiteboard in my office, so I write down what I did what I cross out all the stuff that I was able to get done that day, and then I make a plan for tomorrow, so that I know when I get to work, I go through and I know exactly what I need to do, in what order, what's the most important to least important, and if it's least important, I look at like, well, does it even belong on my list, right? Do I even need to do that? But those goals are extremely important. That's what makes me successful in my job, and the same thing will go for and has gone for my success as an affiliate entrepreneur. So those are the things that you have to kind of really think about in terms of your desire. Your desire to win, your desire to succeed, is all based in truth, in law, and it's something that you can't not have happen. I mean, it's just so cool to think about, is that this is not like, it's impossible for it not to happen. That's the safety net. So you do this, you put yourself out there, and you try as hard as you can, and everything you do leads you to success. And that's one of the things, I guess I'll finish with this, is that, since February, when I started this whole process, everything I've done has gone toward making me successful as an affiliate entrepreneur. And even my regular work, like when I think about like what the 4% Success Challenge has done for me in my regular job and as a person, like my confidence levels and my ability to take heat and take pressure, and take grief from people, you know, when they're upset with me, all that comes back to my self-confidence that I've built, because I know that what I'm after is possible, and what I'm after is what will be successful. And so I'm able to take criticism and grief, and I put it on my shoulders, and sometimes I step away from it. Sometimes, you know, Russell Brunson says that, you know, like Russell Brunson's he created ClickFunnels, he co-created ClickFunnels. He's the CEO of ClickFunnels. But he said his wrestling coach, who's a wrestling coach who's one of the most famous wrestling wrestlers in all time. He said he understands pressure tremendously. There's tremendous pressure on him. He just chooses not to be under it, right? So he steps aside when the pressure comes in, lets it he just watches it and lets the pressure, like, sees how the pressure's affecting him, but from the side. He doesn't let it come down on him. He kind of steps off to the side, knows that it's his responsibility, but he doesn't let it affect him. And that's a key to his success. So that's something that, you know, I guess I'll finish with there, but if you're interested in this, and this is something that rings true with you, this is only the beginning, by the way. Like I said, I'll be doing at least 12 more videos of talking about success principles and Think and Grow Rich and how it applies to affiliate marketers. But the first thing is to implant that desire, get those goals written down. If you're interested in the 4% Success Challenge, which is an absolute gem, it's something that has changed my life and has given me the ability to impart these things to you and to help other people, that's the way to go. So check out the link below. If you're on my email list and you're getting this through the email, you know, check out the links. Look at the webinar. Looking at the webinar again. You know, make sure that this, or, you know, see that this is something that will help you understand how to become successful and achieve the dreams, achieve the things that you want to achieve for yourself and your family. And that's one of the things. Like I said, you know, when I got into this, I was just trying to make some money for myself. I had no idea that I'd be worried about other people, and now I'm just all I'm doing is trying to help other people achieve what I've been able to achieve in such a short time, and get to where I am in such a short time. And that's something that's so important to me now. And I had no idea that was going to be the case. So that's a joyful experience in itself. Is just that I'm able to help other people through this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, hit the like button, drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you, and I look forward to talking to you soon. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll be talking tomorrow about faith. Have a great day.